Health and Wellness Minister announced a tighter curfew and other COVID-19 containment measures for the parish of Manchester as cases continue to surge.
But in keeping with the Disaster Risk Management Act, the curfew hours for Manchester will begin at 7 p.m. this evening, that's Monday the 25th of January, and end at 5 a.m. on Monday, February 8th, 2021.
Jamaica on Sunday recorded 2 more COVID-19 deaths, pushing the tally to 338 with 133 new cases, pushing that total to 15,012. The police have launched a major investigation across several police divisions into the attack of 6 homeless persons, which left 4 dead.
Although them homeless, we still love them same way. It's a real tragic incident. Would I really like them find a brother if even if he's mad, I'm seeing holy man, because this is really bad, you understand me?
And the police have confirmed that 6 men were shot and injured by unknown assailants on Racecourse Lane, Kingston 14 yesterday.
From all indication, whoever went there and fired those shots, they had an intended target. We're not sure if the intended target was hit. That is why we emphasize persons have to just take the warning not to attend these illegal gatherings.
Good evening. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has announced a tighter curfew and other COVID-19 containment measures for the parish of Manchester as cases in that parish continue to surge. Starting today until February 8, curfew hours will be 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily, with tighter traveling and public gathering restrictions.
Our major hospitals in the region are at the amber and red alert levels. Mandeville Regional Hospital, 76%, and Percy Junior Hospital, 83% occupancy. In addition, there has been an uptick in the number of persons who have been found to be positive for COVID-19 from general hospitalization surveillance, that is, persons who are admitted to hospital for another condition when routinely tested for COVID-19. Those persons are found to be positive for COVID-19. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with the Disaster Risk Management Act, the curfew hours for Manchester will begin at 7 p.m. this evening, that's Monday the 25th of January, and end at 5 a.m. on Monday, February 8th, 2021, with persons allowed to move about between 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. each day. During the period, gatherings in a public place should not exceed 10 persons, and markets and vending in public arcades and public transportation centers are only allowed between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Additionally, between January 25th and February 8th, 2021, public transportation authorized by the Transport Authority Act will be allowed to operate between 4 a.m. and 8 p.m. and no passengers being transported between the hours of 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Dr. Tufton says the parish now accounts for 11.3% of all confirmed cases in Jamaica in the past 2 weeks, with the death per population of Manchester ranked 9th.
Manchester has seen a rapid increase in cases, with 125 new cases between January 10th and 24. In addition, the cases are spread across the parish, with over 30 communities affected. There is non-compliance to infection prevention and control measures, as many persons are not wearing masks, and there is more crowding and gatherings that are observed on the ground by the surveillance team. The parish of Manchester accounts for some 11.3% of all confirmed COVID-19 cases in the last 2 weeks, and presently 5.3% of the total confirmed cases ever for the country are in that parish. The positivity rate for the parish has been the highest in the last 2 weeks, which is now over that period has been approximately 28% or 27.8%. And it is 3 times the national positivity rate, which stands at some 10.8%. So based on testing, based on surveillance, Manchester is far ahead, unfortunately, in terms of positivity rates, over 3 times the national average. As it relates to death per population, Manchester ranks 9th overall. There is an increase in hospitalization, and these are the indicators that we use to determine whether or not we need to increase the restrictions.
Chief Medical Officer, CMO in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Bisesa McKenzie, says these restrictions are needed to stop the transmission and not overwhelm the health system in that region, which is already in amber zone.
The increased number of communities right across the parish, we're seeing cases, not just cases coming out of surveillance, community surveillance, but cases that are coming out of persons presenting to health centers, to hospitals with symptoms, suggesting that there is a high level of exposure within those communities, and we need to act now in order to stem that exposure, to prevent persons from spreading and to allow them to go through the incubation period without infecting other persons. And that is why we need to have the increased restriction over a period of 2 weeks, so that we can stop the transmission during that 2 weeks and therefore decrease the number of cases. Presently in the parish of Manchester, we actually have 2 hospitals, Black River and Maypen Hospital, that are over 95% occupied, and then we have another 2 hospitals, Mandeville Regional Hospital and Percy Junior Hospital, that are in the amber zone between 75 to 85% occupancy. And this puts us at risk. It puts the region at risk. If the number of COVID cases increase, the number of hospitalizations will also increase, and we will run out of space to put these persons. So it's very, very important at this time that we just stop the movement, stop the spread, and just allow for this 2 weeks, this incubation period, to pass, so that we can have persons being protected from exposure.
In the meantime, Jamaica on Sunday recorded 2 more COVID-19 deaths, pushing the tally to 338. The deceased are a 92-year-old female from Trelawney, whose death was previously under investigation, and a 48-year-old male from Westmoreland, from Westmoreland. Meanwhile, there were 133 new cases, with ages ranging from 5 months to 88 years, pushing the total to 15,012, with 2,609 being active. Of the newly confirmed cases, 78 are females and 53 are males, while the gender in 2 cases are awaiting confirmation. Ages range from 5 months to 88 years old. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 33, Clarendon 22, St. Catherine 17, St. James 13, Manchester 12, Trelawney and Westmoreland 7, St. Mary 6, Hanover and St. Elizabeth 5, St. Anne 4, and St. Thomas 2. In the meantime, there were 19 more recoveries, increasing the total number to 11,889. The police have launched a major investigation across several police divisions into the attack of 6 homeless persons, with 4 killed across the corporate area overnight. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, says 3 of the victims were found with chopped wounds in central Kingston early this morning, and 2 others who are still alive are in hospital. They were found in the St. Andrew Central area.
An investigation is now underway to determine what led to the deaths of 4 homeless persons. A total of 6 persons were attacked sometime between last night and early this morning. So we know of a fact that the number 6 persons, 4 succumbed to their injuries. They all had chop wounds to the head, and based on what the investigators have theorized very early, that they were killed or they were attacked in their sleep. So it's not one of the cases that we normally see because homeless persons are usually very safe. It's the second time we're seeing homeless persons being attacked in any kind of coordinated way. We know that for the 6 that I referred to, 3 of the incidents were in the Kingston Central Police area, which is in the vicinity of Hanover Street and Sutton Street. There was another matter in Kingston West, Turn Division, where 1 person was found with chop wounds. And then there were 2 others now that were found in the St. Andrew Central Police area. Those are the ones who survived and are currently in hospital. So we're now trying to determine who the perpetrator or perpetrators are, exactly what would have led to something like that, because I think there's a lot of unknown as we speak.
SSP Lindsay further pointed out that the police are pursuing several leads as the investigations intensify.
What the detectives are currently looking at, they're looking at the cases that we dealt with about 3 years ago, where we had a spate of incidents targeting homeless persons. In those instances, while they slept, persons dropped stones in their heads, killing them. So they are just going back through some of those cases and to look to see if they see any patterns or similarities. They're following some relatively good leads. I know that we have to rely on technology to see the extent to which it can support us. So this is where, for the areas that we have mentioned, we don't know the exact time, but it's anywhere between last night and this morning, where if they have cameras, so the ones in St. Andrew Central in the vicinity of Springs Plaza, and Derrimore Road was another location. Anywhere in that general vicinity, if you have a camera or close by, because even though it may happen at a particular point, persons may have been loitering around the area. So any persons that have cameras can support our investigation with it. We know that they are going through some footages that they have gotten from some of the other areas. So I believe that persons within their communities should start looking at individuals, relatives, and so on to see if they see anything off, if they saw anybody with any bloody clothes or anything, to give us an indication. Because why it's critical for us to know where this is coming from very early, we don't want to have a continuation. There are similarities in all the cases, so we're just waiting and trying to make an early breakthrough to determine exactly what happened. But it's very unfortunate. It's something that nobody could have anticipated.
We went on the scene and spoke with some residents who spoke with us on the nature of the incident.
It hurt. You feel hurt, man, because I'm a part of the community. I never hurt so for a good while in a central Kingston. I tell you, 3 homeless, man, it pain my heart. I don't reach to, I come see the police yellow tape, but we have my loved one, them did out and see them, A outrageous type of killing, chop to the head, brother. Straight chop, killing spree this. No tussling, just chop in them sleep. This gruesome, brother. Never see this a good while in a Kingston Central. May I tell you, my brother. Yeah, I come right at Sutton Street and Church Street and see this brethren, brother, and people coming from New Kingston out of the taxi. And brother, when me come and see how vile the man is, brother, with the machete in the man, I so scared I couldn't even look back. We can't have this brother in a Kingston, him outrageous, brother. Machete, vile when you see him, vile on the street. Yeah, man, we assume the community know, because one thing with Central Kingston, people don't sleep. And, I assume it's him, because this is no you type of murder. This is killing spree. A man just chop a man in him sleep and go for the next one and chop him. That cold blood.
So I'm far seeing this. This is a madman affair. It's a next madman chop up the three madman and kill. He's a bad man. He's a deport. He's a sick man. So now try to get him and get him off the road. He might go all about try to kill the rest of sick people them. So now get to the man from the road. Saying he's a serial madman killer, deported, do the crime. Now see him all the while. I'm the type of person sell juice on the street, walk and sell, and he wanted to bad me up. Give me the juice, man. Give me a juice, man. And you know what I mean? Talk a lot of bad stuff. So we have to get rid of that man quick. He's a serial madman from America. Very bad, because those three guys is not a bad man. Them not just homeless. Them not really sick like that. Them just homeless.
One other resident who knew about the victims, or who knew the victims, spoke with us about them.
Them really help out in the community, you know. Any little thing them can do, and people around here, although them homeless, we still love them CMA. It's a real tragic incident. Would I really like them find the brother if even if him mad, I'm seeing holy man, because this really bad. You understand me? This is not good for any community. And in our place, a violent prone, we're not even look for this. This way out, way off. Catch everybody by surprise. You understand me? Yeah, man. Last night when I was going home, I saw him coming on Sutton Street. You understand me? In a violent rage. You understand me? Exchange a few words with him and then him on him way. Only to woke up this man and hear these tragic circumstances. You understand me? Grief. The people them real bereaved and grieved. You understand me? Yeah, man. Although them was homeless, away, but them still stand in the community.
Meanwhile, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie has expressed shock and sadness over the killings. Mr. McKenzie said in a statement, quote, "While these are clearly horrific and criminal acts, I am left to wonder if this is the outcome of an outburst of madness. It challenges me to do even more for our homeless population," end quote. He also appealed to members of the homeless population to make use of shelters. Additionally, opposition leader and PNP President Mark Golding is calling for immediate action to be taken by the government in response to the killings, stating that, quote, "This morning's incidents are further evidence of the severity of the crisis of violence in our nation, where Jamaica has become a place in which our most vulnerable and defenseless can be so heartlessly attacked and murdered in our capital," end quote. In other news, the police have confirmed that 6 men were shot and injured by unknown assailants on Racecourse Lane, Kingston 14 yesterday. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that at about 8:45 p.m., the men were patrons among a group of persons at an illegal party when they were pounced upon by 2 men traveling on a motorcycle who opened a fire, hitting them. The police were alerted and they were taken to hospital, where 4 were treated and released and 2 were admitted for treatment. The other patrons escaped unhurt. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, pointed out that based on investigation, the person or persons that fired on the gathering had an intended target.
We did have some dialogue with the commander there to find out what happened, how something like that happened. But what we understand from them that there was no music, there were no vehicles parked, that there was a gathering. They were actually in a yard, so you know how those places are designed, that you have a gate, but a lot of homes in the yard, so they were in the yard. And apparently somebody came there, knowing they were there, and opened fire. So they said there weren't any music or anything to alert them that the event was happening. But we're looking at it just not the same to see, you know, what, if more could be done. But again, it was one of those illegal gatherings. And it, from all indication, whoever went there and fired those shots, they had an intended target. We're not sure if the intended target was hit, because we understand some of the persons are, you know, they're not sure what role they would have in the gang conflict. But that is why we emphasize from the law enforcement standpoint, and we continue to say that as members of the JCF, that persons have to just take the warning not to attend these illegal gatherings, because where you have these illegal gatherings and police are not aware of it, they are not policed. And what we find out is that a number of gang members who are in conflict with each other are meeting up at the same location, and we are seeing the results. In all these cases that we have had those situations, we end up with multiple injuries or deaths. In this instance, 6 persons were shot and injured.
SSP Lindsay also spoke with us about the attackers' brazen approach.
It did raise some questions in the force that if it's so close to the Zozo headquarters, if nobody observed anything abnormal based on what was reported, that never happened. So what it is telling us that these criminals, they are determined to carry out their criminal activities. And wherever they get an opportunity to face off with their opposers, similar gang members, whether it's an intra-gang conflict or it's an inter-gang conflict, wherever they seize the opportunity, because sometimes if they don't catch them at the event, they may never see them, but they're still going to try to kill them. So it speaks to the lawlessness, for one, in the society. It speaks to the regard that these criminals really have no regard for life. They don't fear much about law enforcement. They just want to do what they intend to do. And I think for them, if they get caught, then they get caught. If they don't get caught, they consider themselves probably lucky. So it speaks to what we're up against as a society. Probably if you get to the bottom of it, what they are trying to kill each other for, what they are shooting each other for, some minor things which could have been discussed otherwise, but there is this high level of violence. And I think we are seeing that more and more, and it's kind of driving the murder statistics and the shooting statistics, where you have persons going to a location, they have one intended target, but at the end of it, they just fire without any discretion, injuring and killing persons.
A major manhunt is now on for the pilot and crew of a twin-engine plane, a Cessna XB-JMR twin-engine, which seemingly crash-landed in Rocky Point, Clarendon on Saturday night. Residents say the plane began circling over the Old White Sand Beach around 6:30 p.m. before landing minutes later. Our news team was on the scene until late Saturday night and observed commotion that unfolded after the crash. We watched as curious residents stood on, entered, and searched the aircraft before the site could be secured by first responders. We spoke with some residents about the incident, and they had this to say.
Well, I'm here, I go for eat my dinner, and my girlfriend tell me, say, so one plane drop around a white sand. I say, you mad? What kind of plane for drop around a white sand? He say, yes, and you see when one plane go down around there. Well, when we open my back door, I see like light a flash around there, so I decide to go walk around there. When I walk around there, I don't really can't see nobody. You understand? But I can't take a little prep and the whole district behind me when I come. Because I come like a me lead the way, nobody never want to move. So I have the whole district come behind me. When me come, when I come, I just see plane, I come back up in. I never want to go near because I'm afraid me hear boom, 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 boom. So I not go near, but the little youth, them way younger me and brave on me. Then step up front and go look what I go on. You get to be a deal with. Yeah man, the little youth, they were younger me and brave on me, step up front and go look what I go on. You show me just kick back and I go on. And I say, watch out. You never see this in history. But me can witness it, me see it in a movie, but me can witness it live.
I'm glad nobody get hurt, you know. Because we hope they go save some life, but somebody record them already. So we just go back away and everything all right. So we just leave the government to do their part of research.
Meanwhile, assessing the crash site was difficult for security personnel. They were shown a safe path through the crocodile-infested waters by fishermen from the area. The soldiers and police spent most of the night searching for the flight crew, but were unsuccessful. Help in the search was also provided by a JDF helicopter and the Marine Police, but the only thing of note found on the night was some abandoned clothes and an aeronautical book the flight crew may have been using. Meanwhile, as investigations into the incident are ongoing, a business operator from Rocky Point says he fears for his life after police conducted a raid at his home Sunday morning. Nicholas Graham says he was not at home at the time, but he was alerted by friends that a security operation was taking place. We were shown the ransacked rooms of his house. Clothes and other objects were scattered throughout. Mr. Graham says he has not been provided with an explanation and that he contacted the media because he fears for his life.
I'm not associated with the part of White Sand Beach and nothing like that. I have my business place there on White Sand Beach too, because the whole coastline people call it White Sand Beach. While I'm up there with how much people up there, I hear say police and soldier down my yard. When I look, I see people start sending me video message of video recording of police there over my yard and search my yard. I don't know them get in my house. I never leave no door open. I left my gate locked. When I come, my room door open, everything ransacked. My money missing. I have 207 US gone. I have about 300 Jamaican dollar. 300,000 Jamaican dollar. When I come, it missing. And the whole place ransacked up. If you look round right now, you can see. Say, I be closed the ground. My door piece of my door broke off. Things in the kitchen turn over. Things all about turn over. I don't know why reason. You understand? All I can say, I don't know if a plane will crash. Cause police will come on my yard. And the first it happened, you understand? Me have been terrorized by police over and over. Now I fear for my life. See? I fear for my life. And feel like my life then in danger. You see me? And the first them thing happen.
The Clarendon police confirmed that they had a search warrant to execute on the premises in Rocky Point. And following the crash landing of the twin-engine aircraft, Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon, Mike Henry, has reiterated his call for security at the Vernon Field airstrip, where it is speculated that the plane may have been headed. Henry says there is and will always be need to take control of the corridor of the South Coast area, which is noted for illegal use of exchange of guns and narcotics. The former Minister of Transport said he had been pushing for the development of the airstrip and is hoping that the efforts will continue under the Office of the Prime Minister, which now has the responsibility of the portfolio. The Vernon Field airstrip and its surroundings occupies over 2,000 acres of land and is an old World War II U.S. Air Force base constructed under the British colonial rule. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with more stories, including news of the Criminal Records Office being relocated to 56 Duke Street in downtown Kingston on February 1, and the National Land Agency carrying out preliminary field investigations at areas across the island under its systematic land registration program. But first, let's take a break, and then we will join Christopher Scott with sports.